This podcast is a proud member of the UUOP network.
This is episode 660 of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast for April 29th, 2025. It's alive! It's alive! Hey everybody, I am Chris, your co-host for today. And I am here with Tracy, Michelle, Lee, and Michelle's Rush of Fear co-host, Kenneth. Before we get started, Lee, UUOP is brought to you by the Producers Club. Join today and get bonus episodes, chance to be guest host, be part of our awesome Facebook community, and more. Head over to uUOP.supercast.com to subscribe. Shameless plug. All right, I guess let's jump into it, huh?
So obviously, I'm going to let everyone know this will be spoiler-free, even though we have two people on this call right now who have been to Epic Universe already.
Actually... You know, you couldn't get hold of me earlier. That's where I was.
You wish.
I'd totally do it as well.
Spoilerish free.
No, it will be spoiler-free. Otherwise, I will just edit Chris out.
You're going to hear bleeps, and it's not bad words. It's just...
You know, me and Chris actually were talking last week about... We were debating what's the best ride in Epic. And I was kind of looking forward to continuing that debate here, but I don't think we can.
Okay.
I don't think we can.
No. Nope.
No,
Fast and Furious 2, isn't it?
Unfortunately.
Let's not go
Can
down
you guys
that
just
road.
hurry up and get over there already, please?
I'm trying.
We're trying, man. We're trying.
3 weeks.
All right.
To be fair, we were supposed to be the first ones there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Universal just messed all that up for
Yeah.
us. So
Anyway.
That's right. All right. Well, the most mysterious world of Universal Orlando's newest theme park, this captivating new land will envelop guests in monstrous adventures across various attractions, shops, restaurants, and character meet and greets that will thrill everyone from families to classic monster fans alike.
created by the award-winning Universal creative team in partnership with Universal Pictures, Dark Universe blends the iconic stories of unearthly legends like Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, the Bride of Frankenstein, and more with a new generation of monsters and characters, including the fabulous Dr. Victoria Frankenstein, the great-granddaughter of the infamous Henry Frankenstein. Good God, how many times can we say Frankenstein in one sentence?
I don't know, but that's the great-granddaughter, not just the great-granddaughter.
Great-great-granddaughter of him, who has continued his misguided experiments. As guests venture through Darkmoor, the ravaged village within Dark Universe, they'll encounter the characters and subjects of those experiments within a first-of-its-kind theme park environment that offers family-friendly fun, while also pushing the boundaries on intensity in a way that only Universal could achieve.
Welcome to Darkmoor. The journey to Dark Universe begins the moment guests enter its electrifying portal, which harnesses the dark energy of Darkmoor. As guests step foot inside, that same energy will pulsate throughout the entire village and connect at the top of Frankenstein Manor, the towering focal point of Dark Universe. Nestled within the blackened stone walls of the town, guests will embark on unique adventures where they can get made up to look like their favourite monsters, spin through the woods aboard a thrilling family coaster, enjoy unique dining establishments, and enter Frankenstein Manor to brave Universal's most chilling ride ever, and more.
So the one thing I want to ask, kind of talking about Darkmoor as a whole, to obviously Chris...
I don't think it is a haul. I think it looks quite good.
Well, we don't know, do we?
I think
Because
so,
we're remaining
too.
spoiler-free. How big is Dark Universe compared to the other lands in the park? Because I have an idea that it's the smallest.
It probably is the smallest one. I think it's between this and Super Nintendo World are the smallest two,
Okay.
I think.
How does it compare to one of the other lands in the other parks
That's a good
in
point.
size?
I'm trying to think.
I feel like it's similar in size and in like offerings to Hogsmeade.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing.
That is
It's small in the context of walkable areas, but it does take a pretty big piece of land.
Okay, because
With, like,
I'm
the show
assuming-
buildings
yes.
and stuff. Because it does feel small when you're in there, as opposed to like Isle of Burke. Isle of Burke is huge. Like you don't even feel like you're in a theme park.
Interesting.
We'll get to that in the next episode.
Yeah.
But, Yeah, it's definitely. I would agree with Kenneth that it does have a walkability aspect similar to that of Hogsmeade.
Okay, which means it's
But
going
it
to be so.
But maybe bigger, maybe a little bit bigger than Hogsmeade, because Hogsmeade just feels claustrophobic. So
I think it might be. Yeah, it might be about maybe a little bit bigger. The actual like village portion is definitely smaller than like Hogsmeade's village portion before you get to the like Hogwarts Castle
Right.
area. But then the area past the village is definitely bigger than
yeah.
it is in Hogsmeade. So I
Okay.
think it kind of evens out.
Like the
I will
burning, you go around the back, you have that Burning Blade Tavern, you have the Curse of the Werewolf.
Yeah.
So like that feels a little bit more like extra areas that aren't in Hogsmeade, right? Because
Right.
that just feels like the bridge almost at that point.
yeah.
Hopefully, it's not as big of a bottleneck as Hogsmeade is. Like hopefully the walking areas are wider than Hogsmeade.
I think that where it opens up from the village into the manor and the like Curse of the Werewolf path is definitely a bigger area than going up to Hogwarts. And I'll also say, like, even though it does feel like it's maybe the smallest, or definitely in the bottom two in terms of size of areas in the park, it doesn't feel too small to me.
Okay.
And everything that there is to do there is so great that you're kind of just like,
Yeah.
this is. It kind of feels just right to me. I don't know. It feels good.
I think this has got
Cool.
something to kind of step up above Hogsmeade, even if it feels like that. I don't think this is going to be as busy as Hogsmeade is, purely because
That's
of the
yeah.
Potter fandom.
Yeah. Also, I hate comparing this to Hogsmeade.
No,
'cause
but I kind of.
Hogsmeade just
We're
feels
just talking
so
about
small.
size.
Yeah.
But we're only
Yeah.
talking about
Well,
size.
whoa. Okay.
I mean, it's not the
Also,
size
Michelle-
that matters, right?
To answer your question, or just kind of the statement you made about walking around over there, I will say, I've told this to like anybody I've spoken to, the entire park as a whole was built on capacity. Like they knew there was going to be so many guests. So in my opinion, everywhere you go in that park feels bigger than either of the other two parks.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Good to know.
The streets are wider, the areas are bigger, they're grander. It's not like hallways. There's some areas in Nintendo maybe, but that's because they had to like stick to that design, I think. But everywhere else, obviously Celestial Park, ginormous. Burke, huge. But even Darkmoor doesn't feel,
Small.
as tight. Yeah, it
Okay.
doesn't feel
Yeah.
like some of the other areas that we're used to at the other parks.
Yeah, I
I
think.
will say that, like, on the last Rush of Fear, we were talking about how, like, even though it's busy, it never feels crowded. And right after recording that, I went back, and it was a day when Epic was open until like 10 o'clock. And Darkmoor at night
Yeah.
was packed. Like opening night HHN level packed. It was
No.
so
course it
crowded because
is.
I mean that's where you want to see this place at night,
Yes.
So everyone kind of had the same idea, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is crazy.
That was exactly like
Yes.
Shelby talking about Celestial Park last week, saying that they left Stardust Races and Constellation Carousel till dark because that's when they wanted to ride it, and everybody else had the same idea.
To be fair, I feel that entire park, maybe aside from Burke, I haven't seen that at night. Everything should be experienced at night.
Oh,
Like
Absolutely,
Stardust,
yeah.
insane at night.
Yeah,
Like
Stardust
true
Night.
for
honestly,
any-
I would
That's
tell
true
you
for
to skip.
any theme park. Every theme
Yeah.
park's always more beautiful at
Yeah,
night.
but even more so here. Like they really went in on the lights, and like Darkmoor in particular. If you could, it goes against one of the tips that everybody tells you, which is like if a ride is open, go ride it because you don't know if it's going to go down, which is very true. Maybe that's different once it's officially open.
Yeah.
But skip Darkmoor during the daytime. Like it's cool,
but yeah,
but it feels.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I
If I
understand
had to
what
pick
Chris
between
is
day
saying.
and night,
though.
I would do night for
yes.
sure.
I mean, yeah, but I wouldn't. I do think that if you can go as early as you can as well, like if everything's open, like, and we're about to get into the discussion of them, but like this ride is like if you leave without doing it and you had the chance to, you missed out. You missed out big time.
Yes, that is the one caveat to my statement. Yes,
And also, like,
100%.
it's so dark at night, like, and as it should be, but there's so many little things and details in every window and on the outsides of the buildings and all the signs that like you just will not be able to see
Yeah,
at night.
that makes sense. It's like Tracy and I are so excited when we're coming over in May. The hours for May have just been given out, and Islands of Adventure, that first weekend we're there, is open till 10 o'clock at night, and we rarely see when we're there islands open that late, and we're super excited to be able to get in there after dark because it's not something we get to do an awful lot.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in the summertime or like late springish?
Yeah, we've been in May before, like 20 years ago.
Okay.
And we have been summer. We died.
August, yeah, we've been out in
That was
August.
horrible.
Let's discuss the attractions.
All right. Well, first up, we have Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein Experiment. Universal Orlando's most terrifying attraction yet. This state-of-the-art dark ride takes guests deep into the catacombs of Frankenstein Manor, where Dr. Victoria Frankenstein conducts her twisted experiments. In a vain display of her genius, she invites guests into her laboratory to witness a demonstration of her ability to control monsters. But her plans go awry when her attempts to control the most dangerous of monsters, Dracula, fails, unleashing a horde of enraged monsters. Guests are then thrust into an intense ride through the darkness as they try to escape the grasps of the Wolfman, the Mummy, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, the Brides of Dracula, and others.
That is the most theme park premise for a ride ever.
I think one time the official Universal account on Twitter was like posted the prompt, just describe your favorite ride badly. And mine was cool situation, but something goes wrong.
Like, isn't that every attraction?
And now you're a recruit.
Yeah. Frankenstein, Monsters Unchained. I think unanimously people kind of agree that either this Monsters Unchained or Ministry are the top two rides.
Yeah.
And just which one is your favorite kind of just, I think, depends more on which IP means more to you. For me personally, Ministry is not in my top 2 or 3 or 4 or even top 5 rides in the park.
Wow.
But I have a lot of reasons for that, and I don't want to get into them here because spoiler free, and I don't want to.
You got to talk about spoilers on that when you talk about it.
There's kind of no way around it. You can't even talk about that ride without getting into spoilers.
Well, Chris is going to have to in a couple of weeks, so
good luck. But this one is my favorite ride in the park, and I don't think it's a big surprise. I mean, I'm on this episode because HHN and Universal Monsters are a big thing for me. And I know that Lee, when Lee was reaching out to try to find who's going to be on these, he was like, "What's the land that you're most excited for?" And I was like, honestly, it's a tie between Dark Universe and Super Nintendo World, because those are like two of my top favorite things just in the world. And I have equal enthusiasm for both of these areas, but like this ride is the ride of Epic Universe for me, in my opinion. I think that this tops everything else.
Interesting. So we have made the comparison already, but from what I know, this ride technology is very similar to Forbidden Journey. Does it feel like Forbidden Journey?
It's not similar to Forbidden Journey. It is Forbidden Journey.
Okay.
It's the same ride vehicle, although I think there's one difference in that the Forbidden Journey vehicles attach to the Kuka arm on the back of the seat, and on this one, it attaches on the bottom of the bench. The movement is a little bit different. I think it does feel like it just because it's basically the same ride system, but unlike, in my opinion, Spider-Man, which invented that motion-based 3D ride system, I don't think any other ride has utilized that system better than Spider-Man has. Now this is the next system that Universal had invented of putting a Kuka arm on a track that they invented for Forbidden Journey. Monsters Unchained, I think, does this better than Forbidden Journey does.
Oh, yeah. I would agree with that. So let me comment here, right? So one thing, and this is for you guys going, right, where I think when you do the whole park once and you can do a ranking there, first impressions, your ranking may change after multiple visits. I don't know if that happened with you, Kenneth, on certain rides. It happened for me a little bit, right? Because the first time around, you're just kind of blown away and shocked, right? You're like, what did I just experience and do? So this ride was the top of my list prior to going. I don't know if I overhyped it. For me, and this is part of the conversation we were having, this is no spoilers. For me, one of the things that kind of brought it down a little bit is that it was too much like Forbidden Journey.
Right.
So in the sense that this is all familiar to me, except with, I don't want to say it's a layover of monsters, because that's not giving it the right praise it deserves, because the ride itself, there's some really, really cool effects in that ride that I think Universal knocked out of the park. There's monsters in there, particularly Dracula. Amazing, right? And Kenneth, I think you'll agree with me on that.
Yeah.
That Dracula effect, insane.
The first time you see Dracula is nuts.
Okay.
It's gonna blow your mind. Like your mind is like it's gonna have a little bit of a hard time comprehending, because there's just so much being thrown in your face, right?
Yeah.
That's what she said.
And you also you also need all the animatronics to work to really get the full feel of it, because the first time we rode it, there was a specific animatronic that was not working. And this is one of the things that kind of ranked it a little bit lower on my list, right? This was number 1 on my list. And I rode it and I came off and I wasn't disappointed. I think I went too critiquey on it, but some animatronics weren't working. So I got off of it going, what was that ending? I don't know what just happened. Like, where are we? What are we doing? It felt reminiscent a little bit of what?
Fast and Furious.
No, not that bad.
Good God.
It felt reminiscent of Kong, where you finish Kong, and I'm like, did we save the girl? Or did she die in that crab's hands? And then you hear her on the radio. Like, you really got to hear her on the radio going, hey, I'll meet up with you guys. Cool. So this gave me that kind of vibe. Plus, one of the things that bothered me on this ride, which after kind of talking with Kenneth and kind of thinking through it again, I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. Forbidden Journey does a phenomenal job at hiding other vehicles, right? Like, you don't really see any other vehicles.
Unless you're looking for them.
Here, you see all the vehicles.
Really?
And I'm like, well, I think Forbidden Journey did a better job.
Okay.
But then if you go story-wise, Forbidden Journey is Hermione lifting you on a bench and you're just going with her. As this one, I think, and Kenneth, maybe correct me on this, this one's more of it's supposed to be a conveyor-like thing, where they're just taking people through this lab doing stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Almost like Minions-like, where it's like, come through this. So it doesn't matter if you're seeing other vehicles, because
they're meant to be there.
You're on a conveyor belt. Like, that is the story. So that made me like it a little bit more.
Yeah, like in the fact that you are riding a ride vehicle and that you are not the only person doing that is explained in the pre-show.
Yes.
And the vehicle explained in the pre-show. And like, yeah,
super
so
cool, by the way.
It's not supposed to be, oh, we're the only people doing this. It's like, no, you are all here to do this, is kind of the setup.
So that kind of brought it back up a little bit on my list after realizing, it's okay for you to see it, right?
I was just going to say, does anyone know, or maybe Kenneth would know more than anybody else, are they having like consistent issues with the animatronics working?
There's one figure in particular that I do think I did see it moving at one point, but the last couple times I rode it, it wasn't working. Okay. And I haven't been in a while now. But I had heard that now, like, that one is kind of like covered up with a sheet so that people don't see it.
Oh,
not the curse of the Yeti.
No.
What was up, Chris?
Was it the last animatronic or no?
No, it's not a super important one. It's one that, like, the first time I noticed that it wasn't moving, I wasn't sure that it was necessarily even supposed to be moving. Right. I was like, oh, what's going on there? Is that supposed to move? And like, I was riding with a friend and he was like, oh, I didn't even notice that. I was like, okay, good. That's not one of the more major figures. Like, it's definitely not one that's like very in your face, because there was like, did you all see the video where they like first showed the animatronics for the ride?
Yeah.
So like that one Wolfman that like swipes at you, I rode that ride without seeing that figure move for such a long time. And I was like, I've never seen that Wolfman move. I want to see it move. And when I finally got it, I was like, oh yeah, now we're talking. Great.
So
and the ride was still great without that, but like that was one that I didn't see move for a long time, and now I have, and
well, hopefully they're getting
great.
all those kinks worked out right now with all of the
I do have one quick question before we move on. For someone that has certain motion, Tracy? What do I suffer from?
Motion sickness.
Yeah, that's the one. On certain parts of Forbidden Journey, is that going to be an issue on this ride?
Which parts of Forbidden Journey give you issues?
The screen parts. I didn't want to go there specifically. Okay,
it'll be great. It'll be great.
Because this ride does not have any of that.
Okay, good.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, that is the reason why, or one of the reasons why you can't see other carts in Forbidden Journey as much, is because of those screens,
things,
and that's not how they implemented this. So that's why I'm saying this is not a overlay of Forbidden Journey.
Cool.
It's that would be taking away from it. Also, we lightly tapped on it pre-show for this ride.
Be careful.
Top tier.
I don't want to say it's half of the reason to ride it, but it's kind of also half of the reason to ride this because I freaking love it.
Okay.
It is so well done. It's one of the best pre-shows I've ever seen.
And you know what it establishes a tone and a character to the story and the characters and the monsters that we are seeing. We're like, yes, we know these monsters, but this particular version of these monsters are given such a specific like personality that really comes across in the pre-show. Like I was not nervous or like scared of like, is this going to be too scary? Which it's hard for me to judge that because obviously like very into haunts and scary things. It's hard for me to tell what's scary to like a typical average park goer.
Mm-hmm.
I took Lucas in there, so.
Okay. And he was fine?
I mean, he didn't cry.
I went in with my sister and we did not get to ride because it went on a delay and it ended up closing. We got into the extended queue and then we didn't make it back inside. But even just that first hallway, she was like, this is spooky. And I was like, oh, that's right. I forget about things being kind of scary. Like,
desensitized, my friend.
Yeah. But I think that if you were nervous about this ride and you get into that pre-show and you see like, oh, this is the tone we're going for, I think we're going to be okay. Like it's going to be scary, but it's also fun. And there's a sense of humor in it that I think really helps balance the experience for like, if you're not here because you like scary stuff, you're still going to have a good time here.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Cool.
Before moving on, Kenneth, was it the Mike Wazowski animatronic that was broken? Was that the one?
I don't know what you mean. No, maybe. I think I might know what you mean, and no.
Okay.
The one that I'm thinking of could not possibly be described as Mike Wazowski.
Okay.
It was more of a Monsters reference. All right, Tracy.
Yeah. Okay. That's very confused now. Curse of the Werewolf. Deep in the woods that sit on the edge of Dogmoor, guests will find the Curse of the Werewolf, a spinning family coaster inspired by the Wolfman. Guests will enter the encampment of the Guild of Mystics, where they'll be greeted by the Maleva, the Guild's all-knowing seer and leader, who warns that they bear the mark of the werewolf. Guests then board a wagon and venture into the forest, racing to escape the werewolves before they become one themselves. Ooh.
So I have another quick question. Is this going to make me puke?
No.
It depends on how much your car spins, I guess.
So if he's riding, is it self-spinning or
yes,
do you get to control it?
Control it.
Oh,
no,
damn it.
You don't control it.
Okay.
It's just the weight distribution in the car and how the physics are impacted by that. So there's it's just a free spinning.
So it's not like
the team member did tell us that if you have a group of 4, get your 2 heavier peeps on one side and the 2 lighter on the other sides for maximum spinning.
That's exactly
so
where
it's
I was
not
going.
like Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot where it does spin, but it's controlled like it's a preset spin. Okay.
Completely open. Think more of a tilt-a-whirl on tracks.
Okay.
So in other words, I could end up on this spinning like bloody fury and end up coming off of it green. Or, That's worrying.
Or you could end up not really spinning much at all, which I've had a ride like that where I was like, we barely even spun. I think we did like 2 rotations the whole time, you know? So it's really just a matter of who's in the vehicle.
Oh,
So that's the last ride of the day for you then.
yes, until I've ridden it and I know what to expect. Oh my God, that's going to make something very interesting. I'm going to be the one that, no, thank you. While everyone else does. Anyway.
You got to ride it. It's a really fun
I'll be
ride.
like,
Oh.
hell yeah.
Very short, but fun.
How long's very
Aw.
short?
That's what she said.
Maybe, a minute and a half, Kenneth?
Yeah, maybe.
If
Maybe
that. And
I might be less than that actually, yeah.
Not Flight of the
and-
Hippogriff short, right?
If it is that short, it feels longer because
ooh,
of a moment in the middle, I think.
yes. Universal did a very clever thing to make something longer than it should be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've just Googled it and it
And-
says it's an hour and 33 minutes, but it's talking about the movie.
If it was an hour, you'd really be sick.
Yeah. I did watch The Wolfman after my first visit, and watching that movie, I just like turned to everyone in the living room and I was just like, a ride based on this black and white movie opened this year.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe this.
So crazy. Do you consider this a family coaster?
Oh yeah.
They do.
Yeah, 100%.
It is. It's kind of it's kind of crazy to me that this roller coaster, which it doesn't look too scary from outside, but like this is the ride for the people or like the little kids who are like, I'm too scared to go in the Frankenstein Manor. That looks too scary. I'll ride this roller coaster. And like the sounds coming out of the shack in the middle are so intense where I'm like, is this the least scary version, like option in here? Because it sounds gnarly in there. And like when you're on the ride, what happens in there, there's like nothing is actually happening. It's just sound effects.
Yeah.
But like from off ride, it sounds crazy.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay. Interesting.
Also, this ride doesn't matter. Front row, back row, facing forward, facing backward, ride wherever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's good to
I
know.
guess if you're spinning,
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter which way you puke.
Yeah.
We started
Yeah.
one way, staring at somebody, and ended back at the track, staring at somebody else.
Okay.
I don't know if you agree with this, Chris, but of the coasters at Epic Universe, I really, really like this one. And even so, it's probably like the least interesting roller coaster in the park.
100%. I love this one. I wish it was longer. Like, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And you get off wanting more. And yeah, like it is, like even the queue to get in there, there's not a whole lot going on, but tons of fun.
Yeah. I get off this ride and I'm like, wow, that was great. This is in last place of roller coaster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly what Alexa and I said to each other.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about something I'm super excited about, and that is the Darkmoor Monster Makeup Experience. Guests of all ages can become fashionably monstrous as they don elaborate face paint and temporary tattoos at Darkmoor Monster Makeup Experience. Here, monster makers have converted Dr. Pretorius's infamous old lab into a parlor to continue the spirit of his demented experiments, and skilled artisans use their talents to transform guests' outer appearances so they can showcase their fandom for the Universal monsters.
Is this something that's been going on during previews, do we know?
Yes.
Yes.
Do we know if a lot of people have taken advantage of it?
No.
I don't know that.
I saw on our trip one person at the end of the night while I was at Pizza Moon getting ready to leave the park. And he had a full on, he didn't do the elite premium Michelle experience. He did the regular one.
I'm not doing that either, thank you.
And he did I think he was Frankenstein. I forgot what it was. It was the end of the night. And I will say this much. He got it done. He said he got it done earlier in the day. It was hot as hell that day. I was sweating my ass off. And I'm sure he was too. And his makeup looked phenomenal. Like it did not smudge or smear at all. So I was kind of excited about that. I'm like, okay, maybe one day if I'm, wanting to spend money, I'll do this. But Looked awesome. I will tell you that
Yeah.
much.
It's one of those things, isn't it? No one's going to be doing it on their first couple of visits because there's so much else to do. It's like a once you've been sort of half a dozen times, really, isn't
I
it?
do wonder though if the news about being served alcohol or not being served alcohol while wearing it, I wonder if that's going to impact a few people's
I
decisions
think
to do
so.
it.
It's so weird, though,
They
isn't
have
it?
to lift that ban.
Well, it's not. It's like wearing a mask. You can't actually tell that that's a person from their ID.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. So, they're only protecting the license,
Yeah,
which I
that's
can't blame
fair.
them for.
No.
Which is why I'm going to get my monster makeup done and then leave the park and go to the DMV and then get a new ID so I can get alcohol with my makeup on.
Kenneth, I love you.
And just send you that gif of the guy pointing at his head saying smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brilliant. The problem
Honestly,
is,
like this, so one little quick side story. We were getting off of Curse of the Werewolf, and we stopped at the little cart. And again, we're running through things, so we have to go back and like really look through everything. And they had there some phenomenal merch. And one of the pieces of merch that they have, which I will buy one day in the middle of December if it's ever cold, is a Wolfman jacket and pants that have the fur ripping out of it. So like you straight up look like a Wolfman, like turning.
Yeah.
And I believe and it was also extremely well priced. Like it was for both things like $75, which I thought
Wow.
was pretty cheap
Not
for
bad
pants
at all.
and as well. Not at
That's
all.
one of the things that's included with the
And
more
that's
expensive
what the employee
experience.
told me. Yeah, that she goes,
Okay.
oh yeah, they have that or something similar to that in the, the higher tiered package in there. When they said that, and I saw like what you're getting, my opinion of it being pricey kind of changed because I think there's a lot of value in what you're paying for that.
so you get to
Yeah.
keep
That's
that
good.
if you do that elite
I
experience. They
expect
give
so,
you
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
like Bibbidi
Okay.
Boppity Boutique, right? You keep that dress. I think
Oh heck yeah.
I wouldn't
yeah.
know,
Yeah,
Chris, to be fair.
they let me keep mine. So
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
I haven't done this, and it's not necessarily something that I'm super interested in doing, although I do have a friend who said that for their birthday they want like a group to go and all get our monster makeup done and like be in costume and just be monsters all day. And I'm like, look, that sounds awesome. I would 100% do that. But I did get because like each monster basically has like a section of the store where it's like these are like the costume pieces of if you want to dress up like this monster, this is what you're gonna get, and you can also just buy the pieces individually if you want. So I definitely did get the Dracula like cape because he's my guy, and I have like a cheap Amazon one that I got for the Pangolin Family
Yes.
Ghouls show when I played Dracula, and I was like, well, now I have an official
Nice.
Dracula one
Yeah.
that I can
That's
use if
cool.
if we ever do that again, or if I ever need to
Nice.
put that
Get it.
costume on again.
Awesome.
Dude, you're the next Halloween show. All of Pangolin goes in there. You guys each get dressed up as
That
one.
would
and
be
go to a
Oh,
show.
awesome.
man.
Come on, dude. You're not thinking. Come on.
Right.
That's a great idea. And I
You
mean,
get there
I
in the
went with
morning,
Gary.
get your stuff, go, get all the gear, and then we have a show tonight.
Our lead singer Gary, we were in the park together, and like he was the Wolfman in our show, and I was Dracula, and he was looking at that Wolfman stuff, and he was like, "Damn, if like this is way better than I thought it was gonna be." And he was like, "If we ever do the show again, this is our costuming right
Yeah.
here. It's just like it's all right here."
I can't wait. We're doing this on the 23rd, Audrey and I. But I've got it like right after lunch, so at least we can get some drinks in during
Yeah.
our lunch before we
Oh.
get our makeup done.
Yeah,
I'll think
you
of you
picked your
while we're
monster
over
yet?
at Islands.
Yeah.
I have not picked my monster yet. We shall see. It should be a surprise.
Kenneth, tell us about some monsters.
Oh, sure. You can meet the monsters. There are monsters to meet in Dark Universe. There's always someone or something looming in the shadows of Dark Universe, including monsters who are eager to meet and greet everyone from kids to adults, including Dr. Victoria Frankenstein's monster and the alluring Bride of Frankenstein, guests will also encounter other unusual inhabitants roaming the eerie village, including Victoria Frankenstein's servant Igor, the Invisible Man, an eccentric monster hunter, and a talented musician who regales guests with songs and tales of the classic Universal Monsters stories.
So to jump in, speaking of these monsters meet and greets, I think that Igor character is the one that I have seen doom scrolling through Instagram the most. And every time I say, like, nope, nope, nope.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
You are going to fall in love with him. Like, I don't want to give anything away. You're going to fall in love with Igor.
He looks awesome.
I
phenomenal.
can't wait. I love this sort of stuff.
The fact that Igor has become kind of like the runaway star of this entire park is so thrilling to me. Like, I'm so happy, and it's just so funny to me that everyone loves Igor that much. But he's earned it. He deserves it.
He definitely earned it.
Yeah.
I will say, so I was talking to in another group chat there just about these encounters, because we haven't seen Igor, because I think he came out after we were there, or maybe he just wasn't there that day. We did see the Invisible Man.
He's awesome. Oh my God. He is the one.
Yes, I can't
He is
wait.
the one I want to meet more than anybody else.
He's great.
But we loved him at Horror Nights.
It's my favourite
Just-
section of the Monsters Unmasked house at Horror Nights 2 years ago.
We saw him, and then we saw what I'm assuming is the eccentric monster hunter, because we just walked inside the...
oh no, that was just David
Late
Griswold.
That's what it was. Yeah. We walked inside the tavern just to kind of check it out real quick. Super dark, and there's like a guy sitting in the corner, and I'm like looking. I literally told Alexa, I go, I don't know if he's a guest or he works here, because guests were dressing up pretty well, like for the lands that they're going to. And so, anyways, I'm looking at the menu, and this guy just kind of comes up behind us, and he just starts talking to Alexa. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? And he's talking to her. He's like, listen, are you with that guy? And I look over, and he's like kind of smiling at me, and she's like, yeah. And he just starts going. He goes, there's something about him. He goes, I think it may be a wolf.
Oh my God.
Maybe a werewolf. And he starts going into character, doing all this stuff. And again, I'm talking to him. The guy is just doing phenomenal banter back and forth. We're throwing stuff at him. I took my hat off. I'm like, dude, I'm bald. How can I be a werewolf? He kind of comes back with something slick after that.
Brilliant.
Amazing interaction inside of the tavern. Didn't even expect a character interaction there. And he was just sitting in the corner by himself.
Nice.
So very much a Beetlejuice-like character.
Brilliant.
That's like sniffing through garbage and then kind of like, interacting with guests.
Brilliant.
Like that was fun. The Igor one that you've seen, you will fall in love when he'll love him, right? But we were just talking about how these guys, and this is what they're setting up for. Like, there's so many intricacies and different stories going on here that they're gonna play with this for Horror Nights. Like, I would not be shocked if we saw something heavy Igor in Horror Nights this year or next year, and you'll understand why once you've done the land completely.
Okay.
But yeah, I am so excited, even more so, for anything monsters at Horror Nights because of this land, because of these interactions. They're just killing it. Like, even Bride of Frankenstein, I've been seeing videos of her. She's sarcastic as hell. Like, she just rips you to pieces. It's phenomenal. It's great.
Amazing.
The way she moves is so cool, because she still has that very like bird-like twitchy movement of her head and stuff that she has in the movie. Which something so this is Dr. Victoria Frankenstein's monster. It's not the original Frankenstein monster. There's a new monster, but this is the original bride.
Yes.
And so I don't know where this information came from, but I heard someone say that, like, yeah, so that she's the original bride, and this is like, generations later. So the bride is like 150 years old. And that's
her age.
Yeah. And that's why she can speak like full sentences, because she's been
learned
alive and learning for all this time, and yeah, I've met her. I have not met the monster. He has not been there on any day that I have been there.
Okay.
But I've had great interactions with the Invisible Man. One of the signature drinks, which I'm sure we'll get to, is monocaine, which is the Invisible Man's serum that turns him invisible.
Nice.
Lovely.
Oh,
So the first time we met the Invisible Man, my friend was like, do you have any monocaine for us? And he says, what do I look like, a peddler to you? And I shot back, I don't know what you look like.
Nice.
And he did not like that. He
Nice.
he was like, let's take our picture, get out of here.
Brilliant.
The monster hunters. So Chris, you walked in when the monster hunter, they're called the hounds. When the hound is already in the Burning Blade Tavern, like, yeah, they can come up and start these interactions. But if you're in there before they get in and you're in there when they enter, I don't know if they all do it or if it's just this one particular person that I saw. They have a little moment when they enter that will make, like, the first time I was in there and that happened, I turned to everyone I was with. I was like, this is the best place in the world.
Oh, God.
I'm so happy here.
I cannot wait.
You're just giving me more reasons to sit inside of a bar for longer periods.
Cannot wait. I love that character interaction. It's like
it's
Scare Actor Dining at 29 was phenomenal.
Brilliant.
Phenomenal.
It really does feel like that. Yeah. I mean, just not even this land in particular. And again, this is something I said when I was talking to somebody else. I forgot who I was talking to. But anyways, the entire park, like, I've never been somebody who cares that much about character interactions. I like seeing characters there, right? Like, you know, wandering around doing stuff, but I don't really need to interact with them. I don't know why. This entire park, everywhere I've seen a character interaction has been one that I want to do. Darkmoor, probably top out of all of them. Maybe Isle Burke is second from character interactions, but they have taken it to such perfection, I think, in reference to character interactions in this land. I don't know what, I mean, Kenneth, I think you think the same on that.
Yeah. Well, and what makes them so good and across the board in this whole park, with the exception of maybe Super Nintendo World, where it's a much more traditional meet and greet setup, but like Igor and the Invisible Man, or like the Viking characters in Burke, and the characters that they have in Potter, like, it doesn't feel like they're there for meet and greets. Other than in this one, like the Bride and Frankenstein's monster, they are kind of a more traditional meet and greet setup. But the rest of them they kind of just are existing in their environment. And so if you want to have a character interaction, you can have that interaction. But even if you don't, they add to the whole area because it makes it feel like a real place where people live, you know? And like the entire park feels that way. Like you just walk around and you're just like, there's actual Vikings like walking around and
spoilers.
Like doing stuff. That's not a spoiler.
We kind of know that. Yeah.
There's team members that work there too.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Whoa! You would tell me there's visitors next.
So if anyone noticed that Chris wasn't on this show, he just got cut out. I'm kidding. Yeah, that's what I wanted the Wizarding World to be like.
Yeah.
They make everything feel just like this is a real place. Like it makes it feel so good.
Awesome.
Just seeing all this stuff happening around.
Cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a quick ad break and we'll be right back.
I wish to go to South Korea.
Where can our vacation wizards take you? Just tap the port key at portkeyvacations.com and let the magic begin.
Welcome back. Let's talk about food. So guests can also sink their teeth into delicious fare and shop all new merchandise and apparel during their visit to Dark Universe at highly themed dining and retail locations, including
Das Steakhouse, Darkmoor's most ominous restaurant. This establishment is a dining hall run by vampire familiars who size up unsuspecting patrons to be part of the vampire's feast. Surrounded by artwork and artifacts detailing the history of the village's creatures of the night, guests can enjoy a menu of kebabs, burgers, sandwiches, and more.
And I'm still going to go back to when they initially announced this and we sat here on this very podcast talking about this menu and went, it's called Das Steakhouse. And yet they do not mention steaks at any point on that blurb.
I
Different
know.
steaks.
Yeah, but it's still meant to be
They're-
a play on steakhouse.
Yeah, but it's
I know.
yeah. You got kebabs. They're cooked on.
It's not
Steaks.
a steak, though, is it?
No, it's
There
a
is a
stabby
steak.
steak.
I'm sure
There
it
is some
is.
steak.
I'll find a steak.
And stick it up your ass.
Well, that wasn't what I was going to say, but if that's your preference. Wow.
No, we want those pretzels from Gaylord Palms. Anyway, that's different. Let's just leave it at that.
That's for the bonus
can-
Do you know what?
episode.
You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
share
Yes.
those.
Chris, remember that. Bring that up for the bonus episode.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Have either of you two eaten here?
Yes.
I did.
And?
It was very good.
With the stakes high.
Bum.
What'd you have, Kenneth?
I got the bits and pieces, which is like the meatloaf dish.
Oh.
Okay.
So it's like little pieces. It's not like a whole meatloaf because they want to cut it up and put it on a kebab basically. So it comes on a steak. So it was like meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and vegetables.
Ooh,
And it was great.
Sounds good.
it does.
And the desserts. The table got both desserts. So we had the labata cotta.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which that was fantastic. And then also the coffin cake.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, nice.
Which
looks good.
both of them honestly equally wonderful. There have been
Okay.
other restaurants where I tried multiple desserts and there was a clear winner. This one, honestly, either no matter what you do, like I guess it just depends on what flavor profiles you prefer. But red velvet and panna cotta
yes.
are both equal winners in my palate.
Okay.
So the actual steakhouse itself is amazing. The seats, everything, like it's gorgeous. You just kind of want to hang out in there. The food that we didn't have a lot of food, and obviously I know they're still kind of getting things together, and this kind of goes in general for our visit. It was very 50-50. We had some phenomenal food in certain places and some really not great food in other places. Think grilled cheese at Stella.
Yeah. You do not have good luck with food at all, do you?
No, I mean, we had some really good items in the park, but this, if I remember correctly, we had the blood orange sandwich,
Oh.
which is like a crispy chicken sandwich
Uh-huh.
with this blood orange sauce. Tasted really good, the sauce, but man, the bread was like 10 times the size of the piece of chicken. Like it was
Oh.
just a tiny little sliver of breading. And it was very dry. Like we honestly only ate it just to put something in our stomachs. But it wasn't that great, but the ambiance more than made up for it.
Yeah.
We also tried is it called mead in there as well? Right. They have a mead too.
There's a media.
Okay. We had the mead there. Phenomenal. The mead in any place in the park that has mead, get it. It's really good. So we had that there, and we did not try any desserts. So
Right.
it's one of those restaurants we're going to go back into and definitely really kind of explore more on the menus. Our trip was really just trying to knock out as much stuff as we
Yes,
can.
Of course.
Yeah.
We barely ate in the parks.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. This is a restaurant that this was like number one on where I wanted to eat. But Dark Universe is the first portal I entered at Epic Universe.
Of course.
And we immediately did, both of the rides and like explored the area. But then we kind of ran out of things to do pretty quickly. In this area, it's like, on a preview day when lines are not long, you run through things pretty quick. So then by the time it got to lunchtime, we were across the park and we ended up eating somewhere else. So I didn't get to eat here until a later visit. And I definitely want to go back and try more of the menu because it looks really interesting. I've heard that blood orange chicken sandwich was my number one anticipated item on this menu. And before I had a chance to go, I had heard some lackluster reviews on it. So I decided to explore other things. But that is what I would have gotten if I hadn't heard anything about it.
Yeah,
But-
the sauce is great. It's just the chicken patty that they're using, and I hope
Okay.
they fix this.
Yep.
It was minuscule. Like it's nothing in
That's
there.
why you need to let them know. I noticed Hate to Fly, Andy, Hate to Fly posted on Twitter yesterday complaining about, I think it might have been, no, it wasn't. It was the burger in there in the black bun. And it was like a burger in a bun and like 10 fries. And he's like, really? For
Yeah.
$17.99 Universal?
Yes, the fry situation was also minuscule as well. I forgot what we were with the Griswolds that day. I forgot what they got, but the portions were kind of odd, especially for what you're paying. Again, really the thing that took us, away from even worrying about the food was the ambiance of that place. Because like even your chairs that you're sitting in are these like giant, they look like old vampire-like chairs with their bats on the top of them.
Yeah, they have bats.
It looks like it was hand carved too.
They're very ornate.
Awesome.
Like everything in there. This is a restaurant I, as a child, would have been terrified to be in there.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome.
The decorations in there are so scary that I was like, I can't believe that this is just in a restaurant.
Nice.
That's
Cannot
so cool.
wait.
Oh, it's gonna be so
Cannot
good.
wait.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing too, which Kenneth, I don't know, just because we're talking about restaurants right now, and literally 2 different employees at 2 different restaurants told me the same thing. The ACs need to be turned up like by 10. It was so warm everywhere we went to. Did you have that same experience?
I did not have that.
Huh.
I didn't. The temperature never stood out to me one way or the other, so I don't know.
Okay. No, it happened there, and it happened at Pizza Moon. And I even talked to the lady. She's like, "Yeah, it broke 2 weeks after we opened." I'm like,
Oh,
"How does
wow.
a brand new AC break?"
Oh wow.
Yeah, like that's wild to me. But anyways, I'm sure that's an easy fix that they can do.
Yeah.
Let's talk about drinks, Tracy.
Oh, I could definitely help out there. Okay, we are heading into the Burning Blade Tavern. Despite the blades of the windmill still smouldering and flaming periodically, Darkmoor's monster hunters have transformed this old fiery mill into their favourite hangout. While enjoying a menu of burgers, wings, bratwurst, pretzels and specialty beverages, guests will hear stories of infamous hounds, boastful hunters from beyond Darkmoor, all while surrounded by an impressive display of the monster heads they consider their trophies. Can't
Yes,
wait,
please.
can't wait.
It is definitely cool in there.
I'm sure.
As sad as it sounds, I did not have anything from in there.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it was literally like Kenneth said, the same thing that we did. First place we went to is Darkmoor.
Uh-huh.
And again, this is the first day, so we're running through everything. I was getting yelled at. I wanted to stop at the Atlantic, which is the first restaurant when you enter the park, to grab a drink and just look at it. And Alexa's just yelling at me the whole time. She goes, "I will leave your ass. All right, let's go."
Alexa's
And
my
so-
spirit animal right now, because I'd
we
be
had
the same.
we had a power to do that. So we were in the Burning Blade, and I don't know why I was going to grab a drink. I either had one in my hand from Cella's Tiki already, or I was
Jesus.
about to get one at Cella's Tiki.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, all right, I'll come back. Never came back.
Yeah.
But it is gorgeous in there. I will gladly go there anytime with anyone to go
Okay.
grab a drink or just chat with an eccentric monster hunter.
I'll see you there in October.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely a place I could see hanging out a lot. This is like the Finnegans of Dark Universe.
Uh-huh.
Like this is where you're always going to see this full of pass holders and familiar faces. It's just awesome. I definitely got my first drink here at like 10:30 a.m. on my first visit to Epic Universe.
Hey.
And I've tried a few things. I've had the Reaper's Reserve is like the signature beer for Dark Universe, and it's like a very like caramel. It smells like caramel, like if you actually smell it. But it's like cinnamon, nutmeg, caramel flavored beer.
That sounds like a breakfast beer to me.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a secret drink on the menu
Oh.
that you can get called the Crossbow, which is their mead mixed with a strongbow, and that is delicious as well.
Yeah, no thanks.
You lost me at Strongbow.
Yeah.
Teenage memories. No.
Oh,
Yeah, nope.
So what's so funny about that drink, and it is you said it's a secret drink, right?
I mean, it's not on the menu, but
No, I'm not knocking that you're calling it a secret drink. I had multiple employees and people, you got to try out the secret drink. I'm like, guys,
Yeah.
what are we doing
Well.
here? That's like there's a speakeasy with a sign in front of it that says speakeasy here. And like, that's not what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
the food here is really good too. I've gotten so many snacks here just because it's like usually pretty easy to just walk up and do your mobile order and hang out in this
Sounds good.
environment. Yeah.
I'm all for it. Yeah.
That's a good tip, actually.
I will say, just you mentioned this. I don't know if you guys talked more thoroughly about this prior, but if I'm not mistaken, almost everything in that park is mobile order.
I think so. I mean, you'd think if somebody did another podcast.
Yeah, right. I think they did a really good job of how they implemented mobile order. It works really well in that park.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, hopefully it'll just keep things moving for people. And people aren't wasting too much time.
And when you've got the opportunity to build a park from the ground up with mobile ordering in place, then why shouldn't it be?
Exactly.
Yeah. There are some tweaks they need to do because we did have gift cards from the Mardi Gras gift card things. So that was a pain in the ass anywhere we went.
Yeah, you can't use them, right?
You can't use it in your app. Take away from the fact that you still have to add your pass holder discount in there. I'm still going to complain about that till they fix it. Yeah, you can't do it. So I went to go order. They're like, no, you got to sit down and order. So I have everything together, and I speak to the one of the team members there. I'm like, how do I use this? They're like, oh, you got to go to the front. I'm like, yeah, I was up there. They told me to come sit down. And so it kind of took a little bit longer. It was very weird. But yeah, I feel like that's something they should be able to fix fairly easily by allowing you to use a gift card in the app or load a gift card in the app.
Yeah,
that would be ideal.
Yeah.
You also can't do like food modifications in the mobile order.
Yes.
Shelby talked a lot about that last week. Yeah, with her being vegan, and then obviously with Kelly on taste as well. It is a big issue. And I know they've talked about a lot, haven't they? And Kayla,
yeah. Because I'm not into like cheeseburgers. I usually get my burgers without cheese. And so I have not had a burger at Epic Universe yet because they all have cheese on them. And I need to wait until I have the option to remove it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's not good for people with dairy intolerances.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Luckily for me, it's just a preference. I don't, nothing bad is going to happen to me if I have cheese. But,
exactly.
But there are people who it will. So.
Yeah.
I mean, also I don't know if this is intentional or not, but if you're a picky eater, right? Like I'm kind of a picky eater. Like I don't like
anything,
a lot of things. Yeah. Their foods in the park they have a lot of non-theme park food items, as you've read and seen and heard, with a lot of different ingredients all over the place. So I don't know if that's intentional, because if you're going to modify a bunch of stuff, like if you have like hundreds of people coming through modifying, it's going to slow things down a lot in the kitchen. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying
the reason why.
The reason why. Yeah. So it's like, it's maybe more for throughput than anything else. And like make it more difficult in the app. So you're just like, screw it, I'll get it like this. But if you did need to modify, like Kenneth, for you, like I'm 99% sure that if you walked up to the front counter where they tell you to go to the table and order, but tell them, hey, I need to modify something, they may be able to do it there. Like they took my gift card there, but I guess they want to make it more of the exception than the rule. With
Well, and like I've gotten, a burger without cheese at other restaurants, like at Mel's or whatever. Yeah. So like I know it's possible, and I do think that it's like a specifically like a preview period thing, where it's like, hey, we need like the cooks need to learn the dishes as designed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what we want to make right now. Like later on down the line, then you can start making modifications. But we're just trying to nail the menu as is right now.
Yeah.
Well, why don't they make it just a burger, and later on you can add cheese?
I mean, that
would be easier.
Sense, yeah.
Or just have
but then
just do burgers, and people can take their own slices of cheese in the pocket.
All right.
Are you telling me you don't have a cheese pocket?
No.
What do you think the back pockets on your jeans are for?
Tater tots on one side, cheese on the other.
Exactly.
That little skinny pocket on, that's what that's for.
Yeah.
Please steer us away from this one.
Yeah. Okay.
I need that a t-shirt now.
DeLacy's Cottage.
Wait, before you go, there's one more thing I forgot to bring up, and this is actually useful for parents out there, because now I'm a parent with a kid in a park.
Ugh.
All right. I don't know if it's like this in the other parks, and Kenneth, if you know this, please tell me. So something that annoyed the out of me is that none of the restaurants would let me take the stroller inside. I had to park the stroller outside. Now, I understand the reasoning of wanting to park a stroller outside so it's not congested in there. I get that.
Yeah.
However, if you have a sleeping 7-month-old, if you wake that child, you take that child. I'm not going to take that child.
Yeah.
Right? So I want to eat now while he's asleep, because that's the ideal time to eat. I'm not going to wake him up and take him out of there to go try to eat with now a cranky 7-month-old. So that was something that really bothered the hell out of us over there, because especially at the end of the night, like, and it wasn't just here, it was every single restaurant, even restaurants that had, like, we went to Pizza Moon, the last place that we visited. That place is huge in there. And the guy in the front's like, no, you can't take a stroller in there. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, well, we'll just order to go. Like, you can't take to go orders. I'm like,
what?
He's like, we don't have, because they don't have boxes, right? I'm like, that's fine. I'll just carry it in a napkin. They won't do it. There's no to go orders. You have to, and that's a lot of restaurants too.
Okay.
Like even Burke and all that, you cannot take a to go order. It's a weird, like, carnal sin that they have implemented there, where like one of the managers even like, I'm going to get you this to go, but just pretend like you're sitting right there. I'm like,
but
okay.
Then this is where we encourage people, and we have done on the show for a long time, and I know you guys do on Taste as well, that if you have an issue, go to guest services at the end of the day, or DM Universal, because that's the only way they realize. You get so many people who go in the pass holder group and just whinge and moan about it in there. The only way they're going to learn is if people go through the proper channels and not complain. You're not going in going, oh my God, it ruined my day. Just explain, it could be better if it was done this way. And if enough people do it, then that's how those things get changed.
I bet they're not allowing to go things right now because they're still in previews. They don't want people taking that off property and letting other people try it and review it.
Oh, I get that. No, I get ish. They'll fix that. It's more of the stroller thing that really irked us because, like, it was just a weird thing. And I know I'm complaining from like a different perspective that some people don't even have to worry about. But now that I have to worry about it, I'm sure there are many other parents that have kids in strollers. Yep. And this is going to be a big inconvenience. You know how tired kids get at the end of the night too. They're not out. So it's a weird rule. I hope they fix it. And to your point, I got that Universal survey for my Epic trip, and I put a full statement in there of, not coming down on them, but like, hey guys,
just bringing it to their attention. Yeah.
You got to think about this too from a guest perspective and enjoyment perspective. Because again, we weren't even, just to finish off the Pizza Moon thing, we weren't going to eat there. So we can't take it to go, and I can't take the stroller in. And Lucas is like, crying his lungs out. I go, can we at least walk in there to just look at the place? Because everybody kept on telling us, you got to go in there. It's super cool. And he's like, sure, you can walk in there. So he lets us walk in with a stroller, and we're walking. I look around. There's like a couple other like parents with strollers, and Alexa's like, this, we're just going to sit down with the stroller and eat here. I'm like, all right, I'm done ranting and complaining. Michelle.
Yes, let's talk about DeLacy's Cottage. Near Frankenstein Manor sits DeLacy's Cottage food stand, where the original Frankenstein's monster once received sustenance and friendship. Here, guests can find a variety of snacks and cool treats like cinnamon bread, ice cream, twisted taters, and more.
If I can't get a pack of cigarettes here, I'm not going.
Anyone that is the one thing that's missing from their menu is
exactly.
cigars.
Yes. Shocking. Cinnamon bread, hell yes.
I'm thinking, cinnamon bread and ice cream.
All in one.
Yeah.
You scoop the middle of the cinnamon bread out.
Oh,
put the ice cream in the middle and then put the top back on.
Ooh.
This is why I'm never going to be skinny.
Yes. Yes, please.
Did you guys try anything from there?
I don't know what this is, to be honest with you.
Brilliant.
It's a little snack stand that's like between Frankenstein Manor and Burning Blade. It's on the right. And it's where the like freestyle machines are.
Oh, the freestyle. Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah. So now whenever you're watching The Bride of Frankenstein and you see,
he goes into DeLacy's house, just you can know in your own heart that there's 4 Coke freestyle machines outside.
Okay.
And when you're at those freestyle machines, you can hear DeLacy inside playing the violin.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Cool.
But no, I didn't really try anything here. Okay. They have a Frankenstein pretzel like the Shrexel.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Finally, let's look at the place to drop your hard-earned dollars.
That would be Pretorius's Scientific Oddities. Descendants of the late Dr. Pretorius have turned his Darkmoor village home into Pretorius's Scientific Oddities, a wondrous emporium where his collection of macabre items is on display and, of course, for sale.
I'm not overly keen on the theming of a lot of the Dark Universe stuff that I've seen so far. I do want some stuff, but I hope it's not all awesome because I don't want to spend all my money in there.
I know.
It is.
Oh, Chris.
The one Dark Universe piece of merch I bought, coincidentally, left the Burning Blade Tavern after the guy called me a werewolf. And the people working at the booth there outside, I don't think it's like a specific name for that booth, but they were talking to me in character, and
Nice.
they pointed to this pin, which is the mark of the wolf or the mark of the beast, or something like that, where it's like, yeah, this means that you are a beast, a monster. And then there's an opposite one, which is like a protection symbol. So I just went and bought that because I'm like, yeah, the guy called me a werewolf. Why not just rock it on my book bag?
Oh yeah, the Medjay.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. And then there's also the Manor Storehouse. In an abandoned part of Frankenstein Manor, Dr. Victoria Frankenstein's assistants once stockpiled various objects and oddities from the storied past of the legendary Frankenstein family. Here in the Manor Storehouse, you'll find monster-themed souvenirs, apparel, jewelry, toys, sweets, and collectibles.
Sounds like every Universal store on property.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is the store at the exit of Monsters Unchained.
Okay.
And honestly, it basically has all the same stuff that's at Pretorius's Scientific Oddities.
Okay.
It's just bigger. The Pretorius store is like really cramped and small,
Right.
and Manor Storehouse is a lot more spread out and open.
Okay.
Okay.
Of course, there'd have to be one at the end of the ride
Of course. Exit through the gift
Right.
shop.
because everyone's coming off pumped. The animatronic worked. Cool. Buy some stuff.
That is how I felt.
Is that what the animatronic does? Go buy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just points towards the door. Yeah.
it whispers in your ears.
Yeah. Spend
You
Lee's
want to
money.
buy things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's also the Guild of Mystics. The Guild of Mystics have set up their wagons in the Cursed Woods on the outskirts, or even the outskirts, there's more than one, of Darkmoor Village. Here they sell colourful t-shirts and other werewolf-themed souvenirs and apparel, monster-themed toys, magical charms and handcrafted jewellery featuring ancient symbols that may protect some from werewolves and other horrors of the village.
So you've just learnt where that cart was that you bought that from, Chris.
That's the one. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, werewolf themed stuff. It's like my two favourites are the Wolfman and the Invisible Man. That's the stuff I'm going to be buying. So yeah, for sure. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna like this cart.
Okay. Cool.
He's
Yeah.
probably not, because I'm going to spend a lot of money.
It's going to be so
That's
hard.
true.
So hard.
No, it's going to be really easy.
That's what she said.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this land. But I have to say, I think my hierarchy's changed. This isn't the land that I'm most looking forward to
Oh,
right
okay.
now.
What
Oh.
are we looking forward to?
Well, I'm going to be talking about it next week.
Oh, told you.
Oh.
Oh, I am going to be
Nice
gloating
little teaser
so much.
right there.
Yeah.
I'm going to gloat.
Yeah.
Oh,
They really knocked it out of the park with this one, though. I think
Yeah.
I think it just feels like it needs one more thing. And, whether that's a certain rumored boat ride or a show, it just feels like it's missing one thing
yeah.
to do, and then it would be basically perfect.
Nice.
funny you mentioned that, because when you rode Curse of the Werewolf, and we'll end on this, but when you rode Curse of the Werewolf, you can kind of get a vantage point outside the walls.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice how they're like clearing stuff out already? Like, I saw tons of machines like flattening, like it's
Chris is
expansion
in it.
property,
Mhm.
but almost like they're like, well, maybe we'll do something soon.
Wow.
I can't believe, it's hard for me to think wow, they're already going to start working on the next
I
expansion.
can't believe that either. But
it
it's just
feels-
weird that they were working on it.
Yeah, I know. They're getting it ready. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to guess the timeline on what the first expansion is, because the other parks feel like they need a little bit of love first.
Mhm.
But
Yes.
Sure.
But yeah, it's there, and
There's lots of land.
they're ready to go. It seems like. Yeah, I welcome it.
Awesome.
Okay.
Can I actually get in and see how it is right now first before we start talking about expansions?
They're waiting on your notes.
All
Yeah.
right. I'll make sure to have them. I have a podcast. Just listen. I will tell you
Yeah.
everything you need to know.
Yeah, on the survey they send you, just put a link to the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to wrap up another episode and bring us one step closer to the opening of Epic Universe. Kenneth, please plug our sister podcast.
Sure. I'll plug me and Michelle over here. We have our show Rush of Fear along with Maddie. That is a show here on this network about Halloween Horror Nights. And I also have a podcast that's about DreamWorks animation called Dream Jerks Podcast. And my band Pangolin is a local Orlando pop punk band. You can come see us play in Orlando at Will's Pub on May 8th.
Kenneth, we might talk. I've just had a thought.
Oh,
We will talk later.
Okay.
that
Should
sounds
talk.
ominous.
Kenneth, tell everybody the info about the trivia night that Russia
Oh,
Fear is
yeah.
invited to.
Yes. Okay. So another Halloween Horror Nights or horror themed local podcast, Fear and Beer podcast, they actually like to host trivia nights at the Top Golf on Universal Boulevard. We did one previously last year after Halloween Horror Nights season had ended. But now we are going to be part of another one that will be happening at the same place, Top Golf on Universal Boulevard. And that will be on May 21st. So the night before the opening of Epic Universe officially. We will be doing a trivia night there. So you can come hang out, have food and drinks at Top Golf. And you can hang out with us and a bunch of other HHN podcast hosts and do some trivia. I don't know what the questions are going to be. Last time they were kind of provided and they said like, if you have any corrections or if you have your own questions that we didn't include, like we're open to collaboration. But yeah, it was a lot of fun last time, and we got to meet some listeners and really, feel like little celebrities. It was cool. So definitely come on out. If
Awesome.
you'll go,
And
if
this
you'll be in
year,
town.
I actually get to be there because Kenneth and Maddie are locals. Like they live in Orlando. I never get to like join them on most of the stuff they do. So I'm actually going to be there that
Yeah.
night. So it's going to be kind of fun.
The full trio.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if Lee and Tracy want to come too, they're welcome to as well.
I might be busy that night.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, no, Chris is not allowed.
No.
Yeah.
We can't talk about him if he's there.
No.
Listen, they didn't invite me to opening day, so I'm not expecting any other invites. So
Oh, Chris.
And also, don't forget, there's also a Taste of Universal, which, if you want to know more about the foods that are in the
Yes.
parks, we are going really in depth over the next few shows. So head over there as well.
May 8th
Yep.
will be the next episode.
Actually, I think it's coming out a few days early.
Apparently, it's coming out a few days early. There you go.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Ooh,
Kayla's now going,
spoilers.
"Oh, crap,
Yes, they
I've
said
got
no
to edit."
spoilers.
Yeah.
All right. So we want to hear from you. So send us your hilarious, how bad is Fast and Furious Supercharged jokes and your which stick gets your lick recordings to podcast@uuopodcast.com. Plus, don't miss out and join the amazing Producers Club community today at uuop.supercast.com. And that will do it. And there are only 23 days until Epic Universe officially opens. Talk to you next time.
That's the end of another Stella episode of UUOP. Use the Flu Network to give you access to us on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, and Pinterest. Just search UUO Podcast. And check out our blog at uuopodcast.com for everything else. Send your owls to us at podcast@uuopodcast.com. And if you want to join the Producers Club, jump down the warp pipe at uuop.supercast.com. It's alive on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else that podcasts are found. So please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you can. Dragons aren't the only way to get around. Email Michelle at portkeyvacations.com. She can take care of all aspects of your next Universal Orlando vacation. Listen to them, Children of the Night, the children of the UUOP network. Rush of Fear, Halloween Horror Nights podcast, the theme park duo for all your West Coast news and info, the Taste of Universal, Universal Orlando food podcast, and the Portkey Passport, an adult-centric Disney podcast. Make sure to subscribe and come back next week because in the end, it turns out all we needed was a little more of this.